Quad City Sports Podcast Network. We talk the plays, we know the score. From the river to the loudest floor. Quad City Sports Podcast Network. QC Steam Wheelers bring the heat. QC Storm make the crowd repeat. Iowa Wild on the ice so cold. Iowa Cubs, the devil you get sold. Trudy Old Colonels let the bat ring out. QC Riverbend is that dugout shout. Iowa Wolves running back. Fucking SC Babby, we stay on track. From the cities to the towns nearby. We keep it live, we keep it ride or die. If you want the recap, come on in. We break it down and then we spin. Quad City Sports Podcast Network. Quad City Sports Podcast Network.
All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? This is Ryan and Robert here. We're actually live at Brady St Blends. Thank you, Carly, for having us. We got Chima here. Unfortunately, off the loss to the Barnstormers. But we'll just kind of jump right in. What I would love to just ask you to just kind of get some background on what's going on this week of what Coach Ross is kind of preaching to the team, obviously on this tough stretch, and how he's looking to turn things around against a tough opponent coming up that you have beat at home, but going to Green Bay is a little different.
So obviously the IFL is a competitive league, especially in the East. I think the East is pretty tough compared to the Western Division. But Green Bay is number one in the conference right now. We played them earlier in the season, a couple weeks back, I believe, week 4, week 3, and we beat them. Obviously, Coach Ross always preached to us. Being 2-5, it kind of looks bad, but at the end of the day, it's adversity. And he preaches you got to take one game at a time. But even though you got to take one game at a time, you still got to attack the game every 4 quarters with intent. And we got to feel like we got to be uncomfortable. And whenever you're in an uncomfortable position, you see who is able to own up to the task or who ends up, folding and crumbling. Being 2-5, it kind of sucks, but we have 9 regular season games left. And for us to make that run, we got to, go 1-0 each week. All it takes is one thing. Be where your feet are at and just control the controllables, control what you can control. And also, do your 110, do your job, do your alignment, do your assignment, do your execution. And, at the end of the day, the football gods will put you in a situation where you win games. And hopefully, by God's grace, we'll get that playoff.
Yeah. You said something so we attended the game when you guys played Jacksonville. You said something kind of interesting. We weren't able to play that game. But you said it was like a God's test, and then you come back and I think recorded the first sack for the team. So I just would love to get more into that mentality of yours of kind of how you bounce back from, that step back of not being on the starting roster, not dressed for the game against Jacksonville, but then come out and record the first team sack, play a great defensive game. You guys, the whole defensive line played really stout. Even for overall, I know the loss, but 35 points on the IFL is pretty good.
So, my, I look at this, trials and tribulations. Obviously, God put his toughest shoulders to the hardest, battles and situation. But, one thing about, playing football, this game of football, you can still do everything right. Sometimes it doesn't work in your favor, but at the end of the day, you still got to keep on going. This is a professional sport. Sometimes things are going to work in your favor. Sometimes things are not going to work in your favor. So you just got to be able to put your chin up and just keep on going and be a seasoned professional. At the end of the day, you just got to look at it like that. What can I do to make myself better in this situation? What can I do to help my team better? What can I do to better the team in this situation? That's how I look at it. At the end of the day, it's all about being a seasoned professional. Sometimes you just gotta look at it, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what can I do to better myself through this situation? Sometimes God doesn't make mistakes. At the end of the day, whenever I touch the field, I have the mindset of, okay, what can I do to exhaust every opportunity. What can I do to, put myself in a situation where I can, execute on my job and execute on my assignment, and hopefully my team this week.
Yeah. How was it? So early the season, honestly, probably one of what seemed to be one of the worst stretches for you guys was you guys went out to Florida, came back, and went out to the West Coast to San Diego. How was all that travel? I think it was 3 games in 12 days or something like that. And you hit each time zone on the way through. So how did you kind of push yourself through that?
So obviously, 3 games and 12 games is, kind of a crazy stretch. But at the end of the day, you just gotta look at this. We gotta still compete and play ball. Like when we went to San Diego, I'm not gonna lie, I was jet lagged. The day of game day for some reason. Like we here in the Midwest, we would play at 7, and over there in California, we were playing at like 9 p.m. So it was definitely weird. And I'm not gonna lie, like I literally woke up at like 5 a.m. It's game day. Do my little pregame routine, do my little Instagram post. So kill more that day. It's game day, and then I got some breakfast. Came back, that walk. I went back to sleep, and then I woke up again. I went back to sleep. And I woke up again. So you could definitely sense there was a type of jet lag for sure.
Yeah.
And my body was not adjusted to that, but at the end of the day, I still had to go play football. 3 games in 12 days is kind of it's kind of a crazy stretch. Definitely full of the body for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What has been different for you in this stretch? Because I was talking to Joe and Keyshawn, we were having them on, and with the new IFL layout of the on Yahoo Sports and on overnight, there's a lot more media timeouts, and it's not necessarily as fast paced. How has that affected you in the fact of you can't really get into that groove necessarily that you'd like to have? You're used to just go, go, go. How is that? How is the game slowing down? Has it helped? Has it kind of been a speed bump for you? What's that?
So I got my pros and cons. Obviously, the arena game, the IFL game is fast paced.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when we're doggone tired and immediate timeout comes on, and you gotta use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Catch your man. But also, like I'm not really big on the whole extra theatrics. Like I'm the type of guy that it's game time. It's what it is in football. But at the end of the day, I can't complain. I mean, obviously the IFL, is doing all these Yahoo TV deals, so put us on a bigger platform. So I just look at it as a blessing at the same time too. But at the same time, it is what it is. Like it was like 5-10 minute TV timeouts. And
Yeah.
like this is actually long. We're just like waiting until the rest of the whistle, so like we can continue the game. I also look at it as a little reader sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes gas out.
Yeah. Well, it's helping too because I think Yahoo released the numbers for the Sunday night game, or maybe last week's game, and it was like some crazy numbers that were viewed. So it's kind of nice to get you guys out there a little bit more than just halfway YouTube streams and on the IFL network that wasn't always up all the time. So it's very hard to get to watch.
It's definitely giving us a notoriety for sure. I mean, when I first started playing the IFL back in 22, when I first signed with the Smith in this season, like all the games were like broadcasted through like YouTube, and every year, I play the IFL. You definitely see like the social media growth and also the the fan base growth and all the TV deals and the sponsors and partnerships they end up coming up with. So it's definitely good to like see the growth in the IFL so far since my past 4 years of playing this league.
Yeah.
Being Todd Chari, the commissioner, is doing a great job for sure.
Definitely. What has it been like in practice this week with going up against Green Bay? What are you guys preparing for that you saw last week, or the last game against them? And then how does it change the way you guys attack it, kind of going in on a shorter week on a Friday?
Yeah, so I mean, quick turnaround. Obviously, Green Bay is the number 1 team in the East. They got a good quarterback. Played at the area last year, Thompson. Really really athletic. Really gets it, shows a lot of presence in the pocket. Gets rid of the ball fast, and he's good with on his feet. I mean, Green Bay got a good offensive line. I mean, they say being number 78, Andrew Carter from Green Bay. He's an arch nemesis, but really good ball player for sure. Definitely, plays fast and physical. He plays, at the whistle too. So you don't really see good offensive lineman, good defensive lineman, going at it today. What's up? Let's say iron sharpens iron, but Green Bay is pretty good. So I been playing this game for so long, so you just gotta respect your competition at the end of the day. You should back down to every man, but always respect your competition at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. What's been different about this team this year to how you guys have prepared? Obviously, I'm not even talking about the record wise because you guys are in every. It's not like you guys are getting blown out or anything. It's not like that. It's tough to the end. But what has been different about this team and how you guys prepare it? And with a lot of guys that have been around for a little while, and then also bringing in those new pieces like Keon Williams, who knows what he's doing, Ransom, who's leading the IFL in interceptions. So, what has it been like for this team, and what's been different about this team?
So, our record is currently 2-5. I'm really optimistic that record is going to change, and I'm really optimistic that we're going to be a team that gets in the playoffs. I don't really care about the seeding as long as we get in. But talking about the team, obviously, what we have about 6 vets, and then we got a couple of guys like Kevin Ransom and Keon Williams, guys that played in the IFL for a couple of years now, and then guys got like me, Joe Crawl, Keegan Rudd, Daquan Hill, we're vets been in the league for 4 years. I think Rudd is probably the guy that been around the organization for a long time now. But one thing I would say about our team is obviously about the talent. I'm not going to let the 2-5 record define us as a team. But one thing I would say is obviously you see that we're really young. We got a lot of young guys, a lot of young bulls. So one thing we definitely I definitely saw is just just being young, and obviously the experience that the young guys are learning from being in this game and being around the vets. So that's one thing I would say. We're really young, but at the end of the day, football's football. We could be a rookie and still compete on a high level with the older cats. So it's really about just adjusting. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure one thing the young guys struggled at first was adjusting. I feel like they're adjusting now. So we tell we're young, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're a great ball player, whether it's outdoor or indoor. We still be able to take that to them.
Sure. I forgot to ask our icebreaker stuff because we know each other well enough at this point. But yeah,
Shout out church.
Yeah, that's right.
We've been asking the guys 3 kind of icebreaker questions, or just questions just to kind of get to know you guys better. First one is go-to pizza topping.
Responsible chicken bacon ranch, donuts, and head toss pizza.
Yeah, that's great. That's always a good one.
Good choice. Yeah.
Guilty pleasure song.
I don't know, time to realize my Pitbull.
Hey, yeah, Pitbull's one of those artists though that I can't say that I'm a Pitbull fan, but I know every one of his songs and know the words to pretty much all of them. And then I forget the last one. I'm forgetting I lost it. But anyway, so what is so off of practice, off football? What are you doing to relax in the middle of the week before game time? What's Chima doing?
After going through 6 a.m. practices, it's man,
Yeah.
every single time I have a moment to take a nap, and I try to take a power nap. Because waking up at 6 a.m. it seems easy, but I'm not gonna lie, about 3 p.m. man, I'm gassed.
Yeah.
I just turned 28 years old and definitely starting to feel sleep deprived. I had great sleep for sure.
You say 28. I played deck hockey this last week. We played Thursday and Friday, and I felt so old after the second game. Just shins on fire. it was tough.
There was a guy talk. We're young.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, turn the corner.
That's right.
Mindset. Sure.
I remember the question.
What's that?
Your favorite, what's your go-to road trip snack?
Oh yeah, road trip snack.
My favorite go-to road trip snack. Double stuffed Oreos.
Yeah,
okay.
those are always great. They're a bit weight. They're a problem.
Yeah, yeah. We don't keep them in the house.
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, Robert, let you jump in. I'm sure you got something to say. I mean,
Yeah, well, I just had to double check. You're also in the middle of grad school, right? So how's that been balancing, kind of taking your education to the next level, but also, doing all the on-field stuff right now?
Yeah, so I'm getting my grad school through St. Andrews. This is a position leadership program. Coaching duties at St. Andrews. Shout out to St. Andrews girls. Yeah, so I'm actually on the schedule to graduate next week on the 15th. So we do not on the 16th. I play a game on the 15th on Friday against Tucson at the Robert Arena. The next one will be graduating and walking on stage. So,
Congratulations on
Yeah.
that. That's exciting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely excited.
that'd be awesome. That's awesome. I mean, 'cause I know earlier you talked about one of them. Was it early in that stretch of those 12 games where you had to come back to scouting for St. Ambrose, and then or early in the season maybe?
Yeah, I was talking about spring ball. So
Yeah.
we were in the middle of we just had a spring ball last Saturday. So literally, we'll have 6 a.m. practice. Then I'll go to the office. Then we'll have like spring ball practice that next morning. And then we have practice with students the weekend. So it's been nonstop. But I'd rather be busy and have nonstop, back-to-back action than just being stuck.
Yes.
I get that.
That's for sure.
So we can get that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with a little power nap.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's right. That's
Sir.
I just wanted to ask too, if it's safe there, just leaving. No, I lost it. It was there.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Will you remember what's it like coaching guys, but also at the same time playing? It's obviously two different mindsets you're going into with.
Yeah, so definitely, had the ability to, flip the switch. Obviously, when I'm playing, put out there in the field, I gotta, execute what needs to be done. Because I know, like, at the end of the day, when my players talk trash, hey, Chima, see me, hey, coach, Chima, see me, get pancaked, I see you, get stirred up at the line of scrimmage. So, because, it's funny, because if we're at practice, I would, I'll talk mess and then make fun of them if rep they said this is a bad rep, and then if it's me, vice versa.
Right.
They'll that's the first thing they'll do. Hey coach, I see you get pancakes. So I definitely try to display good plays so that they can feed off of that.
Yeah.
And, translate that to the game and coach them. So it's definitely a fun experience for sure.
I bet it helps build rapport between you and the players and everything. And
I think the players pretty much, relate to me because I'm not that far removed from college football. So
Right.
So I was definitely in their shoes at one point in my career. So
yeah,
definitely look at me as a big brother.
right.
So it's definitely some pretty cool
Yeah.
experience to and be able to play at a high level. Also, coach at a high level too.
Definitely.
Whatever level of college football is.
Right. Yeah.
What is it like flipping the switch? Because I know you're pretty, you get into a mode of, like you say, kill mode activated on the field. What is it like flipping that switch right after the game and having the experience of, the kids coming down and have autographs signed and stuff like that? What is that flip switching for you, and what does it mean to have those people come down and kind of talk to you immediately after the game? And also, sometimes off of a loss, too. So you're going to have to keep a mental head there, too, of, hey, you're frustrated with the loss, but we get to see these fans that are coming down to say hi to us and look up to us a lot of the time.
No, the younger Chima, I probably would have met him maybe a couple of years ago. I probably a little bit hard on myself. But I probably never talked to nobody after taking the loss, coming off a bad performance. But now, like the way I look at football, like the football life, man, it's all about relationships, like people that do impact on your journey, through like playing football or whatever field of football you're in, like. Because I'm not gonna lie, the football life is real. Like you need a lot of people that make an impact on it. After a game, man, I can be talking to this little kid, like, hey, get this kid a pair of gloves, like, football, sign this kid's autograph, give this kid an autograph. Like, never know what impact you're making on this kid's life. So at the end of the day, it's all about. That's why I love playing football because I've been to play a professional sport, get paid to play it. And at the end of the day, I got people watching me, really impact on these people's lives. So that's all that matters. Impact on these people's lives. Just keep on doing what I love. Just keep on doing what I really impact on people's lives. Touching people through the ability, God, the God. And at the end of the day, it's not about me, it's about the people. My wristband says that Jesus did my place. So. I give God all the glory to bringing me this far in my career because it's crazy how the world works. I remember just being a little kid saying that I'll never play real football.
Yeah.
And I feel like God can humble me and put me into the IFL and use it as a stepping stone because this is definitely growing and I'm probably one of those guys, one of the players, one of the staples that that who's the hell out of this. I mean, maybe one day I can be coaching the IFL. Maybe one day I can be a champ in the IFL. So I definitely a big fan of the league and what the sport of football has done for me so far to this point.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're moving more towards what they used to be, how big they used to be. Kind of growing out of it. It's awesome to have you guys actually get the spotlight because it's a fun game and it's a totally different game than just outdoor football.
It is.
Way faster paced.
I feel like with the IFL too. Like, I got a bunch of homies that play in the NFL. I mean, when you're playing the NFL, like you have that persona that I'm overly bougie and not people's personality. They're away from like the fans and like, all the fans. But in the IFL, like it's a small league, so like all the fans know who you are. That on Facebook, following on Instagram, like they get to come close to you and actually know who you really are, like off the field. So you have that opportunity with the fan base to get to know the fans, and fans get to know the players, get to know them. So that's why I think it's pretty cool as well. So,
Yeah. Well, you have anything else, Robert?
I think good, yeah.
I did want to ask Carly one. You got any questions? I mean, jump on and ask questions if you got one. No. What is the go-to order?
Shoot. Usually when I come in here, I always get the caramel nut roll. I've been getting that one. I've been switching it down. I mean, last time I came here, I got the Snickers.
Yeah.
Carly does a great job with Chima to provide all this great protein shakes for us. So shout out to Carly, Brady St Blends.
Yeah. Thank you for having us here too. This is a fun. Obviously, get to know Chima even more than we already do. But the drinks were great.
What'd you get, brother?
What is it? Mexican lollipop. So
Got the watermelon splash over here.
yeah.
It's with mine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I got two kids. I just follow the path of where I'm supposed to go. But like I said, Chima, thank you for doing this. Carly, thank you for having us. Yeah. Hopefully we can do stuff more in the future. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.